Hello, and welcome to our latest Kinetic Session. I'm Kingsley Johnson, and each week I invite elite athletes, business owners, and thought leaders to share their strategies, techniques, and ideas to achieve more. The purpose of these sessions is to provide a little inspiration to help us all navigate these exceptional times. At Kinetic PD, our team of world-class athletes and business trainers help organisations embed the psychology of elite sport in their teams. And we do this to drive high performance and well-being at work. Our interactive workshops, professional coaching programs, and recruitment support services all help to embed the behaviours, attitudes, and mindsets to achieve more. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our session, and enjoy. In our latest Kinetic Session, I am joined by Steve Judge, the world champion athlete, published author, and a fantastic motivational speaker. In this session, Steve breaks down and shares some of the tools and tips he used to go from wheelchair to world champion and beyond. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining us today.
That's very kind of you to give me this opportunity, Kingsley, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you and your listeners, your audience, my story. And I'm looking forward to the questions as well, because the questions always spice it up a little bit. So yeah, go for it.
Excellent. So first and foremost, I just want to give our listeners a bit of an idea of you and what you've been up to. So would you be kind enough to tell us a little bit about yourself and also what you do?
Okay, so I am a professional speaker, and I say that first because I have the tendency to babble on because I love speaking. So my business is I'm a professional speaker, motivational speaker, and I talk about my journey. And my journey takes me back from 2002, from going from wheelchair to world champion. We'll talk about that in a bit. But through my journey, through the inspiration, through the motivation of the journey and the story and the messages, my goal now is to help people, to inspire others and motivate many. So I'm thinking about how I can do that in my business. What more can I do to get that message out and help people? My why, which I think is always very important, is I want people to experience the happiness and fulfillment of achieving their true life goals. So I'm always thinking of how I can help them on their own journey to work towards what they really want, their goals, their happiness. So that's my business philosophy, and that's what I'm always working towards.
Fantastic. And that fits perfectly, because today I want to ask you a few questions about optimism. Because with everything that's happening in the world at the moment, optimism is one of those words that maybe we're not hearing as much as we should. So I just wondered if you'd share a couple of thoughts on what optimism means to you.
It's a choice. It really is a choice. You know, you've got a choice to be optimistic or pessimistic. That's how I see it. And I think to be optimistic takes practice. You need to keep working on it all the time, working towards being optimistic. And it's not easy. I shouldn't use negative words like it is hard. You should use words like it is challenging. But sometimes the fact is it's hard. When something goes wrong, when you have an adversity, it's horrible. And you know, I talk about the wave of resilience because this is what I talk about in my workshops and stuff. But when you have an adversity or a change, you have that shock. If you imagine a wave that goes down and then up again, you have the shock and the denial, and you have the anger that will bring you down, and that's horrible. And then you have the sharing, which is just you moaning about it all again. It's very hard to be optimistic at this stage. Bear with me. You're then on the rock bottom, and you're still there. And then the rock bottom can be sulking, but it could also be something harder than that, like depression. The thing is, at the end, that's when you've got the opportunity for acceptance. Accepting what is going on with your situation, with your life, with the change, with the adversity, understanding it, and knowing that after acceptance is when the action comes. And that's when you can start thinking about what you can do to make things better. You take the action, you start moving forward, you get to self-actualization, you move forward on in your life. The point of this is you practice that over and over again for the small things in life. When you can't find your wallet, and that's really annoying, you can't find your phone or your keys, and that's like adversity. I know it's a small one, but you do get angry with that, or you stub your toe and that really hurts. But you practice that over and over again, so that when something big does happen, like, you know, the lockdown or COVID-19 or even a death in the family or anything like that, you know what the system is, you know what you're going through. It makes it a little bit easier, but you're still going to go through it. You're still going to have the shock and the anger and the denial and the rock bottom. But once you're in rock bottom, you go, okay, I know where I am. I know what's next. I know I've got to accept this situation and learn from it and take some action. And you can, by knowing that, you've got this opportunity of being optimistic about it rather than pessimistic. And it's just about talking to yourself pretty much all the time and thinking about what you can do to make that happen. We can talk about some of the tools later on that will help you maybe speed up the process. I'll talk about speed up the process. And I'm an athlete. I'm impatient. I want things fast. I don't want to be at rock bottom. If I'm sulking, I want to stop sulking. But sometimes it's very hard to just pull yourself. But gone are the times when people used to say, you just need to pull yourself together. You need to snap out of it, because that doesn't actually help. However, I probably say that to myself. I don't like being here. I want to snap myself out of it. How do I do that? And I think it's learning the tools and the techniques that I've learned throughout my journey that I can use now to pull myself out of the rock bottom phase and then into something a bit more positive and optimistic.
Wonderful. And I love what you mentioned about the idea of practicing and being able to pull on those resources in those extreme circumstances, which don't remove the situation, but it makes it that little bit easier because you've been through it before and you can draw on those experiences again. So yeah, really fascinating. So talking about being an athlete and your journey, please share some of your story with us. Come on, we'd love to.
Right, look at the time. Right, okay, so so let's I don't know, I never know really where to start, but I'm going to whiz through when I was a kid. I loved running. Running was my passion. I'd run everywhere with my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister. I loved that, and scouting was my love as well, getting the badges down your arm. And I think I was setting goals then and working towards them with the badges and scouting. I worked down the coal pits of Yorkshire as a engineer, mechanical engineer, maintenance fitter. That was very much about I was being given problems, and as an engineer, I had to solve them. I was at the cold face, so I couldn't lean on excuses. All of that kind of made me who I was, who I am today. And that's what I needed, because in 2002, I had a near fatal car accident. My car skidded on the road. There's nobody else on the road. It's nobody else's fault. It wasn't my fault. It just skidded. It's a bad accident. Both of my legs got crushed. I got dragged out of the car by the emergency services. They rushed me to the nearest hospital, and that's where they saved my life. And the thing is that my legs were really bad. My left leg had been wedged sideways at the knee, and my right leg had been partially amputated, which means a bone, about 4 inches of bone, had been knocked out of my right leg, making my right leg short. And they put it all together with a big cage wrapped around it. So when I woke up in hospital bed, my left leg had a big plaster cast all the way down. My right leg had a big metal cage on it, and it was 4 inches short. And I thought, this is bad. I was feeling in a bad way. And it was also around this time when the surgeon was doing his rounds, and he said, how are you feeling, Mr. Judge? And I said, not good, to be honest, not good at all. He said, I just want you to know that we did the best that we could, but because of the injuries that you sustained, you may never walk again. Now, I think when somebody gives you information like that, there's two ways of looking at it. It's like a fight or flight in a way. And for me, the flight would have been just to roll over in bed and just give in. And that wasn't me. The opposite was I can remember feeling really angry that somebody had the audacity to say that to me. I mean, they didn't even know who I was. And I guess that's the fight. It's like a red rag to a bull for me. When somebody tells me that I can't do something, I'm like, I'll prove to you that I can. Just give me a chance. You've just fixed my legs. Let's see what I can do with them. But it's going to be a long, long journey. My left leg, they replaced the ligaments. It's got 4 ligaments in your knee. They replaced those with ligaments from a pig. So I don't ask too many questions, to be honest. But I feel a bit guilty having bacon sandwiches now, I must admit. So, parts of a pig in my leg. My right leg, because this cage was holding it all together, it was my responsibility to twist the nuts and bolts on this cage to slowly lengthen my leg day after day, millimeter by millimeter, slowly stretching the skin and the muscle and the ligaments out and wrenching the bone apart to form a gap of 4 inches. And that's what I had to do. I had to get my leg to the right length.
That must have been so painful. Sorry, but
yeah, it was immensely painful. And I think this is very much about having your vision, because people say, wow, you must be some kind of a Superman to do that. And I'll say, well, listen, it's what I had to do, and you don't know what you'll have to do if you're in the same situation. And there were times when I was really low, throughout that. In fact, I found this excerpt in my diary, and it said, it was 4 weeks after the accident, and it said, today was a good day, because today was the first day that I haven't cried. it just explained to me that I'd been crying every single day in my mum's arms. I was 30 years old, and I was just asking the question, why? Why me? Why is this happening to me? There's clearly no answer to that, but I was just like questioning. I just didn't know what was going on, and it was really, really hard. And those are the tough times. We talked about the wave of resilience, that I've been through the shock and the denial and the anger and the sharing. I guess I was at rock bottom there. I felt that I had no purpose, but I knew what I had to do. I had to accept the situation. I had to, work out, much as I'd lengthened my leg, I then had to grow the bone back. And I don't know about you, Kinsley, but how do you grow bone? I just thought you drank lots of milk or ate lots of cheese. I didn't try anything. And the surgeon, that was very official, was like, no, Mr. Judge, no, you don't just drink milk and eat cheese. You've got to stand on your leg. You've got to walk on your leg. Encourage the bone to grow. You've got to trust the cage. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've got to walk, even though there's no bone in my leg. You now want me to put weight through it and walk. But this is what I had to do. Again, I'm not a Superman, but I had a vision. My goal was to walk again, to stand again. The only way I was going to get to that was to go through this comfort zone thing and step out of it. And so that's what I had to do. And where I live in Sheffield, it's very, very hilly. So I found this flat area, park, and I'd drive myself down there in my hand controls car. But then walking around that park, walking from bench to bench to bench, the pain that I went through, the pain that I had to subject to myself was so agonizing. And there were times when I'd sit down on those benches and I'd be in tears, floods of tears, one with the pain, but also from the demoralization of how far I'd come, as in it wasn't far at all. I could literally see my car and I was sat down on a bench. I used to be a runner. I used to love running through the fields and to the pathways and the bridle tracks. And now look at me, I can't even walk half a mile without having to sit down. But looking at my leg, while I was sat down, I could see the blood was dripping out of the cage. It was being soaked up by my sock. I realized that I couldn't have gone any further on those days. And I didn't, because of that, I didn't beat myself up about it. I said, Steve, you're doing everything you can, just keep doing it. And that's what I did. Day after day, week after week, month after month, over the next year and a half, going down there, walking from bench to bench, and eventually I got all the way around the lake. But after a year and a half, my bone, it did grow back, and the cage was removed, and I was able to stand again and walk again, which is just amazing. I was able to wear long trousers again, which is great, because the cage wasn't on there. But, I'd very much thinking about what position I was in then. I had disability in both my legs. So I had to start thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. I want to bring the word in normal, because my goal was very much to get back to normal, to stand again and walking. When I got to that stage, I realized that there is no such thing as normal. I was very different to what I was before the accident. And I only mention that because a lot of this, we're in, COVID-19 at the moment, and a lot of people are saying, oh, we're nearly back to normal. We're nearly back to normal. I think, well, can you stop using that word normal? Because it means different things to different people. There's no such thing as normal. I think with the COVID-19, we're all in the same storm, but we're in very different boats. And that's how I see it. And I was in this position, I'd got back to my normality, and I was very different to what I was before the accident, with my limited movement, my pain that I had, my lack of sensitivity. I was in a bad way, but I had to start thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. And the message I pass out to people normally is stop comparing yourself to other people, to your friends, to your family, to celebrities. Everybody's different. And so I started thinking what I could do. I could go swimming, so I swam. I could get onto a bike, so I started cycling. And people said, Steve, you're always setting goals and working towards them physically. And I think it's because I didn't want the accident to have a detrimental effect on my life. I was still quite angry about the accident, so I was trying to prove it wrong. And so a lot of people asked me, they said, Steve, have you always been like this, setting goals and working towards and pushing yourself? And I was like, oh, not really at school and not really at work, I guess, but scouting, I think I was, with the badges down the arms, setting the goals and working towards them. And it spurred me on to find this old photo of myself in the loft. And it was me when I was 10 and a half years old, and I'd got my Cub of the Year award, and I'd got my badges on, and I had 3 badges on my arm, first 3 badges that I ever got in scouting. And those were swimming, cycling, and running. And that just compelled me to go and find a new challenge, a new sport. And I went on the internet, I found this thing called para triathlon, which is triathlon for disabled people. I thought, okay, let's go with this. And they said, yeah, you can compete, you've got disability. They said, can you run? And I said, not yet. but now I had a goal. I hadn't run for 7.5 years since the accident, but now I had a goal. And when I set off running, it was amazing. And I loved the thought of running, the feeling that I had. I was looking down on my legs going, wow, I'm running again. This is awesome. The thing is, after the run, after the adrenaline had worn off, the endorphin release had worn off, I had pain, a lot of pain. So the next day I couldn't run. So I thought about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do, and I swam. And the day after that, I cycled. And the day after that, the pain had gone. So I ran again because I love to run. And so that was my training montage all the way for the 6 months leading up to the para triathlon event, which happened to be the British Championships. I went down there, happened to be in the same park where I'd done all my rehabilitation. So just amazing. Went down there, meeting the athletes that were not leaning on their excuses, missing arms, missing legs, visually impaired or completely blind, doing a para triathlon. We set off, we did the swim section first, which was 750 meters. I come out of the swim and I'm winning in my category, which is amazing. I get onto the bike and I'm cycling around the course, like 4 laps. It was like 20 kilometers on the bike, come off the bike and I'm still winning. So now I'm onto the run section, the 5K. So I'm running as fast as I can. I'm kind of looking over my shoulder to make sure that my competition aren't catching me up too much. And as I'm running around, I could see those park benches, the ones that I used to be sat on in tears. And I could just imagine myself there, and I just thought, wow, that's not me anymore. Look at where I am now. Look at me, I'm running. And I was running really fast. 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, the crowd were going crazy. The tannoy system calling me in, and I crossed that day. On that day, I crossed the line to get the gold medal and become British champion. It was just so amazing. But it doesn't stop there. So I think the thing is there's opportunities everywhere. You got to see them, you got to hear them, you got to smell them. And on that day, one of the guys came up to me and said, "Steve, you're British champion. Would you like to represent Great Britain?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I would love that. That sounds awesome." So that was my new goal. So I set my goal. I wanted to become European champion. I wanted to become world champion. I did it bit by bit. I competed in the British Championships again. I did the whole training thing. And that wasn't easy. I was working full time. I had a family with 2 kids, but I was thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. I'd get up early in the morning, I'd go swimming before work. At lunchtime, I'd go for a run. I'd sponge myself down in the toilet cubicles before I went back to work in the afternoon. When I got home, I'd play with the kids, put the kids to bed, and then be out on my bike. Just thinking about how I can be efficient with my time, because I had a goal. I had something that I really wanted to work towards and achieve. And over the next couple of years, I became British champion. In fact, I became British champion 5 years on the go. I became European champion in 2011, and my big accolade was the World Championships in Beijing. I went out there, competed against the rest of the world, and on that day I won. I crossed the finish line to become a world champion. I then carried that on. The next year I became world champion in New Zealand as well. In 2014, I retired from international competition, mainly because I was shattered. It was just really tired. It was hard work, it sounds like a great thing, great lifestyle, but it's hard work. And also I was dealing with pain as well. Every time I ran, I got pain from my legs. And I know I mixed it up with the swimming and the cycling, but the pain is draining at times. I've retired now, but I've got a new goal, and that is to be a speaker, to help other people to find out what their goal is, what their goal is, and work out how I can inspire them, motivate them, and actually help them to achieve those goals that they want. I'm always thinking about what more I can do. And so if it's not speaking on a stage, which we can't do at the moment because of COVID-19, then it's doing it online. It's doing podcasts like this. Somebody said, "Steve, you've got an amazing story. Have you got a book?" And I said, "I haven't really got a book." They said, "Well, you need to have a book because you're a speaker. You need a book." I said, "Well, I'll have to write a book." They said, "You should write a book, Steve." I said, "Okay, I get it. I'll write a damn book." So I've now got my autobiography out, and that's got everything in. And I love that because when I'm on the stage, even in this podcast, everybody hears a snippet of my story. And the book's got everything. And that's what I want people to know. And I'm not just talking about the highs, I'm talking about the lows as well. I want people to understand what I went through, how it's not easy, but you can still achieve it if that's what you really want. If you find out what your goal is. And on that journey, working towards whatever it might be for you, it might be like academics, or it might be something physical, it might be helping others. Usually it's helping others. Like in the workshops that I do, that's what I usually find. But on the journey, there's going to be barriers that get in people's way. And it's about seeing those barriers as excuses and turning those excuses into challenges. And it's about being the best that you can be every single day as you work towards your goal. Because if you do that, then you've got no regrets. And I think that's the most important thing, to get through every day, you get through your life with no regrets. And you will achieve what you set out to do. You will achieve your goal.
That's absolutely fantastic. And thank you for sharing. One thing, what's the name of the book?
The book is called Don't Lean on Your Excuses. Of course it is. I've got one here. So I was just looking sideways. Don't Lean on Your Excuses. It's amazing. I love it because it's mixed up. It's got pictures in there. It's got poetry in there. It's got feelings in there. It's even got a playlist, music playlist, that, the music that I used to get through the tough times and the good times, to motivate myself. It's all in there. My book coach that I had, she said, it's your book. You can do whatever you want. I was like, oh, really? Oh, it's a little creative. You think, wow, okay, I'll do what I want. Now, I wanted to be like sensible as well. But yeah, it took me a long time, but what an achievement. And also, I can call myself an author now, which is really cool. I love that.
That's amazing. So available on all good bookstores like Amazon and all those types of places.
Yeah, it's available on Amazon. If you want a signed copy with a message in it, then just contact me. You can contact me to my website or Google me or social media. I'm sure that people will be able to find me. But yeah, then I can put a message in it and send it out to you personally. But yeah, one way or another, you can get your hands on the book.
Wonderful. Thanks, Steve. So I guess I want to get an idea of who makes you feel optimistic, because you've given us such a wonderful insight into your story and how you managed to sort of set your own goals and achieve those goals. But who do you find exudes optimism, or who do you look to when maybe yours is ebbing away a little bit?
Yeah, good question. It's like who motivates a motivator? Because it's tough at times. Sorry, challenging at times. So I think the Corona coaster that we've all been through for the last couple of months, there have been highs and lows. I've been very set on my routine, getting up early, doing my exercises, doing my reading, doing my visualization. And these are the things that help me to be optimistic, a visualization of what I want to achieve, words of affirmation that I say to myself. And then I go down, I do some rowing. I feel like exercise is a really good way to stay optimistic and stay positive. Getting the endorphin release and the adrenaline. I now do a morning video at 7 o'clock on Facebook Live, and that helps me because I kind of have to be motivating and kind of upbeat for that. But I've also learned that on the times when I'm struggling, sharing with my audience and saying, here's the quote of the day. I'm not feeling 100% today, but I'm feeling okay. And just admitting that, just saying that, one to myself, but also to the audience, means that they can come back to me and say, Steve, come on, you'll be okay. You'll get through this. Let me know if I can help in any way. And that's the thing. It's about sharing how you feel. And that's quite hard for me to do. I'm sure it's hard for many other people to do. But I'm trying to paint this picture of being, motivating and optimistic and positive. So if I say I'm having a low day, people will think, well, what kind of a motivational speaker are you then? And you just think, no, I can't help it. And
you are human after all.
Yeah, I'm not a Superman, believe it or not. So it's about admitting it to everybody else. And because of that, those individuals, they're the people then I inspired to be like. They're the ones that help me. Now, there's other people that have inspired me on my journey. They've helped me on my journey. So if I go through my journey very quickly, when I was at hospital, the physios, the surgeons, the nurses, the NHS staff, all of those people have helped me, my family, my friends throughout my journey as an elite athlete, the other athletes, just amazing people, but also my coaches have inspired me. And then in my business as a speaker, part of my training is to watch other speakers, see what they do, see what they don't do, watch comedians, see what they do, watch actors. I mean, as a speaker, what you have is a performance. So I get inspired by lots of people. I take a little bit of every single person, and I put it all in the pot. So there's probably not one individual person, apart from one. I think the main one that's inspired me the most is myself. And I don't think there's any shame in saying that. I have to believe in myself, and I do believe in myself. And that's why I do my words of affirmation to myself every morning. That's why I play the music. The music, yeah, it's great to have in your ears. If you sing along to the music, don't get me wrong, I can't sing, but if you just sing out loud, you're then saying the words, and these are positive words from a positive song. Your ears will hear them. That's just like words of affirmation. Okay, so I'm saying all these positive words. I've got this. I can do this. I can power through. I will not lean on my excuses. I will turn them into challenges. This helps me. So I help myself. And I think that's a very valuable thing. And I think I want to help a lot of other people to do the same as well, to believe in themselves, but also to help themselves. Ask for help when you need it. Absolutely. And I've already said about that, about sharing. But most of the time, it's you. It's me. It's me that sets the alarm in the morning. It's me that makes my sandwiches if I'm going off training. It's me that packs my bag. It's me that I have a shower and get myself sorted. If I have an injury, I have to do physio. I have to do that. I'll ask the advice from a physio, and that might be once a week. but then I have to do all the exercises 3 times a day. That's hard work, okay? And it's me that has to dedicate myself to that. How do I do that? Well, a lot of it, like I said, is through the music and things like that, and being open and talking to myself, because you're admitting to yourself, and it's about understanding where you're going, whether you need motivating or not, but also your wellness. A lot of people forget about their wellness. As an elite athlete, you're very tempted to push yourself stronger, faster, harder. If you can't even get to the start line, you can't compete. You've got to think about injury prevention. You've got to think about your nutrition, your mindset. I invested a lot of time in yoga and Tai Chi and meditation and things like that. That really helped me. But I did that by talking to myself and asked myself, how do I feel? And it's about, whether you feel high or low. Do you feel low? Okay, then maybe you feel low. Maybe you need to take some time off and listen to your body. So all of that is important as well. So there's lots of people that have helped me on my journey, but yeah, the main person is me.
You've touched on a few. Have you got any sort of tools or life hacks that you would recommend to anybody listening that's looking at trying to get that optimism back or to start to achieve the things that they want to achieve?
So yeah, visualization, absolutely. Get your vision. What is it that you're working towards? Let's have the end in mind. What's that thing that you're trying to get to, or that you're going to get to? Let's be positive. You're going to get there. What's that visualization? Make sure you can see that. And when I say that, see it, maybe a vision board, get a picture, draw a picture if you need to. But also when I do my visualization, I close my eyes and I think about it. If you do it enough times, put enough detail in it, you're speaking to your RAS in your brain, your reticular activating systems, your brain starts believing that it's actually true. And that's awesome. You can actually kid your brain, you open your eyes and go, oh, that was great, I want it. My brain wants it, what do I need to do to get to that? And that keeps you positive, keeps you motivated, keeps you realizing what you're doing all these things for. I was going to say these hard things, because some of the times it will be hard times. And so you need a reminder of why you're doing it. So that's really important. Benchmarking as well, benchmarking so you can see how far you've come from. So, you can see if you're trying to lose weight, then you can see that you have lost a little bit, you want to get fitter, you can see how much your times are changing or pump more weight or anything, or grow money. If you want more money, what's your bank account now? Let's benchmark it, and then let's have a look at it every month. And so you can see that you are making progress, even when you feel that you're not. If you're doing something every single day, you will be working towards your goal. So do that. And the last one I want to mention, apart from action, which is a massive statement, but I've mentioned music before. Music is a really good tool that you can use if you find the right playlist. So motivating music, but also when I talk about the wave of resilience, I talked about that with the shock and the denial and the anger, rock bottom, acceptance and action. If you can find a song for each of those sections, something that is shock and denial and anger, an angry song, and a really low depression song, really like sad song, like Depeche Mode or something, I don't know, acceptance, action, maybe something cheesy, something from a Rocky film. You get all of those in the playlist. What's that going to last? About 15 minutes. So when you've had adversity, all you really have to do is find that playlist and press play. That will take you through all of those scenarios, through those sessions, tune by tune, and then you'll come out at the end. It doesn't always work, but sometimes desperate measures. So you just get that playlist, you press play, and away you go. So that's my last one.
That's really great, and I love that idea of a playlist or the soundtrack to help to get you through those stages, and it just becomes a part of you and what you do. Okay, I've got 3 quick questions for you. What would you say is the most influential book you've ever read?
Okay, my first one, it's got to be, there's 2. That's not my book. Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. So I picked this up. I didn't know what it was, and it's the first kind of personal development book. I'd always read novels before this. I was on holiday. It's a free book. I read it, and I couldn't put it down. And it's all about the subconscious, and I learned so much just from reading one book. And from there, I've gone on to other books, and I've got a bookshelf now with lots of books. Like The Miracle Morning would probably be my second one, because I think routine is so important. Sleep Smarter book sleep is important as well. But the one that kicked it all off, I would say, is Blink by Malcolm Gladwell.
Wonderful. And proudest achievement to date?
Oh my goodness. I have so many, and I don't mean that in a big-headed way. I grew my leg back, for crying out loud. Became world champion, author. I've survived coronavirus. My proudest moment, I don't know. I think I'm going to go for getting the gold medal, becoming champion of the world, getting that gold medal, because that signified to me the end of a long journey. There were so many things that I achieved, the accolade that I achieved throughout that series, that session, that journey, and that was kind of the pinnacle. I know I went on to do amazing things since then, but yeah, just to do a triathlon is amazing. To do it on the world level is incredible, and to win and become a champion of the world after being told that I may never walk again, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, let's go with that one.
Fantastic. And what type of world would you like to live in?
Oh, okay. So if everybody was doing their dream job scenario, so if I had three wishes, it would be for everybody to be happy, and for maybe 3 months, so they could experience what it feels like to be fit, to be their ideal weight, to be as fit as they want to have their dream job, to have that scenario. If they just tasted that to see what it was like, and then they went back to normal, if we can call it normal, back to their normal, then they would be inspired to go back there again. I want that again. I want to lose that weight again. I want to be that fit. I want to have that job, because they don't know at the moment. They think that the life that they've got is what it is. And a lot of people, when you ask them, how's things? They say, yeah, it's okay. How's work? It's okay. How's your health? It's okay. What's wrong with it? It's such a shame that they're living in this okay world. It should be fantastic. It should be awesome. It should be brilliant. So the world that I'd like me and them to live in is where everything is really good, and they are fantastic. They are awesome. They are very, very happy, and then they can take it from there. I just want them to taste what that feels. I've tasted that. That's the thing. Being a world champion, getting my life back. I nearly died. So to get that back, to stand on the stage and have a standing ovation, and people clapping and cheering me and feeling inspired, and helping people. I get that. My life is awesome. I love it. I just want other people to have that as well. So that would be the world that I want to live in.
I'd love to live in that world too. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your time today. It's been really, really fascinating.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it, and I see this as an opportunity. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Kingsley.
We thoroughly enjoyed making this session, and for more information on our guest speakers, please see the links in the description. And to learn more about the Kinetic PD team and how we help organisations embed the psychology of elite sport in their teams, visit our website at kineticpd.co.uk. And it just leaves me to say, we are stronger together, enjoy the journey, and stay safe.